Hello guys, and welcome to what it's probably going to be called a discussion video, because today I want to just talk a little bit about the new Renown system and how everyone can pretty much agree with me is broken. 2 days ago when the patch came out and I made the patch notes video, I was honestly excited because this seemed like a very relevant change, finally something that would make an impact in the game instead of just getting some small quality of life improvements and fixes every week. And then a few hours later, after I logged into the game and I killed some Munchauns and some Rhonaros monsters, I realized exactly how broken this is and how it's giving us way more attack power than we actually need or want. In terms of PvP, I'm not going to be talking too much about that because, as you may have noticed lately, I don't really do node wars or PvP that much, so I don't have a lot of experience in that part. From what I hear from other people, it's kind of pretty much increased the gap between a normal player and someone who is, say, full TET or 520 plus gear score, and now someone who is full try may not even stand a chance to kill someone in full TET. I had the opportunity to kind of poke a witch on Wednesday, and I noticed how spamming Wheel of the Wind with my Trike Zarka did almost no damage at all to that witch, who said she had about 285 DP, so that was pretty weird. Having less than 300 DP and my Wheel of the Wind spam, which is an absolute skill, was doing almost no damage. When I first saw this Renown change, I kind of thought that the AP and the damage reduction values would kind of balance or cancel out each other, as in it would just simply give us more DP or damage reduction and more AP, but overall it wouldn't make any difference because the two values would cancel themselves out. But as it turns out, maybe they are doing that, but since you get more of it as you have higher gear score, it means that if you are, for example, under 500 gear score, you may not stand a chance at all to even do damage to someone who has 530 or more. So that's the difference we are talking about. Should have this patch never came? Maybe. I'm kind of left wondering why did we even need in the first place to get more AP and damage reduction bonuses, since it was already quite a huge difference between someone who is full try or full TET. Now the difference is even higher, and for a game like Black Desert, where pretty much PvP is the only reason why you would play it, or at least for 90% of the player base, you kind of want new players to be able to catch up to the older ones and thus increase your player base and have more people do PvPs. PvP I mean. But as it turns out, let's say you started Black Desert a few months ago, maybe 2 or 3, and you finally got your full try gear and you actually saw that you have a chance to perform well in PvP. Now the conclusion is that you would need to grind a few more months on top of that to get your full TET armor and weapons, because if you don't, you will be left behind in terms of damage and overall be somewhat useless in node wars, I suppose. That's pretty much what this patch did, and even though this is the first iteration and it will most likely probably even next week get some changes, I'm still left wondering, as I said, why did we even need this in the first place? Now you might be left wondering why did I even make this video, and that's mainly first off to clarify because I have this feeling that some people were left with the impression from the patch notes video that I am full on board with this change, and to some extent I was. When the patch came out, as I said, I was excited about it, but a few hours later, after seeing it in action, I kind of realized exactly how even grinding Munchauns or Rhonaros forests feels like I'm killing sheep and like I'm all the way back to grinding bandits in Valencia. it kind of feels like the game is slowly moving towards PvE becoming a meme, and you are supposed to just simply sell your soul out for money. That's pretty much what it is. Every spot in the game, especially with the Renown system, is very easy to kill. You will probably be ashamed to even die to monsters these days just because of how easy they are to kill. And what you are left to do, basically the main purpose of the game, is to just simply grind your soul out for a few months or half a year to get a gear score to even stand a chance to have fun in the PvP aspect, which at the end of the day is pretty much the entire end game of this MMO. Now again, why did I make this video? Basically to clarify that and to start a conversation. Maybe I can get some more information from you guys from the comments. You can ask me something or maybe explain how this change affect the PvP in general, because I myself, as you guys know if you follow the channel, lately I don't really do no doors at all, especially in the past few months I did no doors at all. In terms of PvP, I very rarely get some action, most of it in Battle Arena while streaming or some random PvP at the grinding spots. So that's why I would say, at least from my perspective, I can see how broken this Renown system is in PvE, because it pretty much makes every monster feel like you're killing sheep. For PvP, I don't know the full extent of it. I hear that the crowd control changes kind of broke some classes that were kind of relying on a full combo to kill someone, so for example a ninja maybe. And this AP and the damage reduction buff are simply making the rich richer, the powerful players even more powerful, and those who are just playing this game casually pretty much don't really need to look forward to PvP anymore. As in, if you play this game casually these days, you don't really stand a chance to compete at the high-end PvP. It was already bad in the past, because if you are casual you will not have a siege guild, and if you are casual your income is kind of limited in a game where gear is pretty much everything when it comes to end game PvP. High level players, usually the ones from siege guilds, are making a lot of money just from simply being in a siege guild, and on top of that grinding the good spots, because they can push out the low level players out of the spots. And now with these changes, it's again making the situation even worse. At the end of the day, I personally can't say I'm too bothered about this, because lately I consider myself to be a casual player. I've already got to the, let's say, soft cap gear score, at least to some extent, so I'm not really too annoyed about it, because I don't do PvP that much, and PvE was already pretty much a meme. Everyone knows that monsters are pretty much one-shottable at some point when you get enough AP, and there's nothing interesting in that aspect. Maybe with the new expansion pack this is going to change with the Dragon area, but until then, especially with the Renown system from this patch, PvE is super easy and PvP is broken. So it's going to be interesting what direction Black Desert is going to move into, because from the past few months it kind of seems like they are trying to make PvE easier and easier, and the soft cap, I mean the difference between normal players and hardcore players that much bigger. For an MMO where PvP is pretty much the end game goal and everything you can do at the end game, you would think that they would want the new players to have an easier time to catch up to the high gear score players, not the other way around, just keeping those with high gear scores pretty much godlike and everyone else below, and having to look forward to let's say 6 months of grinding if they ever want to enjoy the game properly. Now obviously this is just my opinion, I didn't really think about this video too much, I just simply started recording and started talking. If you want to discuss about this further, I would say maybe leave a comment, we can discuss about this patch and this change. I would appreciate more information because, as I said, I don't really do PvP, so I would like to know how this crowd controlling system and the Renown system changed PvP, in what way it broke some classes. From what I saw from the comments on the previous video, ninjas are pretty much broken because of the CC changes, but besides that I don't really know much else. So that's about it. This was supposed to be just a simple video to talk about this change. I will see you guys next time, whenever that is going to be, and until next time, try to stay happy, try to not get too triggered about this patch, and goodbye.